All right, this is problem number 2 and number 3 from the Chapter 3B quiz review. Number 2 states, which of the following is the equation of the vertical asymptote for the graph y is equal to negative 3 times log base 2 of the quantity 3 minus x and then plus 5. All right, so when we think about our our parent graph for this, our parent graph would have been y is equal to log base 2 of x, right? In which case we know there that our vertical asymptote for the parent graph here of any log function would be at 0, and then we'd have our vertical asymptote there. So what we need to do here is we need to come up with, for this function here, the y is equal to negative 3 times log base 2 of 3 minus x plus 5. We're just looking at where is the x going to go? What's the rule going to be, for our x values so that we can change this x to give it its new value. Okay, we know that the equation for the vertical asymptote for this one is just x equals 0, right? That's the equation of the vertical line. So we want to come up with the equation for this second graph, x equals what? And we'll find what by finding that value there, right? That would be our vertical asymptote. So remember, this rule up here that we're looking for comes from looking inside the parentheses here, right? There's different ways to approach it, but if we take it here and we say, let's let 3 minus x equal I, and we flip-flop the I and the x, right? So then we're just going to solve it here. We'll subtract 3 from each side. So we've got negative I is equal to x minus 3. And then we divide everything by negative 1, and we get that our rule that we're going to be dealing with is going to be negative x plus 3. So it's kind of the same thing, right? Negative x plus 3 is the same thing as 3 minus x, but that is the rule for our transformation there. So you could say negative x plus 3 or 3 minus x. So when we take our value of 0 and we plug it in, we're going to have a negative, or the opposite of 0 plus 3, which means that we're going to have a 3 in here. So our vertical asymptote is going to be where all the values of x are 3. So looking at our options over here, that is going to be option B. So our answer for number 2 is B. Now, problem 3 says, shown below is the graph of f of x equals log base 3 of x and g of x, a translation of f of x. So they want us to find the equation for g of x. Well, as we look at our two graphs here, they have the same shape. You can see here that we've got, a vertical asymptote that runs straight down through there, and then our other one's over here. And, we've got our point that's, one off of the asymptote there, and we have a point that's one off over here, right? So these are kind of the corresponding point. This is our 1, 0 here. So what we're going to look at here is, where does this point move? We're going to move it back 1, 2, 3. So it's going to the left 3, right? We're going to the left 3 units. And then we're going up 1, 2. So we're going up 2 units. So we're going left 3 and up 2. So when we think about our function and we're writing it out, we know g of x is going to equal, all right, so we're going to say we have our f of x, and what are we doing to the x coordinates? Well, if we move to the left 3, that would show up in our equation as an x plus 3. And then if we went up 2, we'd have to add 2 on the outside there. So this is the equation for g of x based on our f of x there. Now, down below, they want us to sketch the graph of y is equal to negative 2 times log base 3 of x divided by 2. All right, so the first thing here for our parent graph, right, let's do our Let's do our parent graph here in blue. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to erase all the stuff that I put on the graph here so that it's nice and clean for us to graph our new function on here. But we've got, for our parent graph, you know, y is equal to log base 3 of x. We know that we would have here a vertical asymptote where x is 0. We'd have that point at 1, 0. And then we'd have a point at 3, 1 for our base value, right, for our x, and then that would be 1. So for our new function here, when we're making up our rules, we've got y is equal to negative 2 times log base 3 of x divided by 2. Let's take this and fill it out to make our new characteristics for our new graph. So looks like since we are dividing x by 2 here, that means for our x values on our new graph, it would have to be 2 times x, right, because we're doing the inverse operation. And it looks like then for our y values, we're going to be doing negative 2 times our y values. So the first one here, when we look at it, you know, we're going to do 2 times this 0, which is going to leave us at 0. So we're going to have the same vertical asymptote. For the second point here that was at 1, 0, and we plug in 1 there, we're going to get 2. And for the third one there, we're going to do 2 times 3, and that's going to give us 6. For the y coordinates, we're going to just multiply them by negative 2, so the vertical asymptote doesn't matter. 0 times negative 2 is still going to be 0. And then when we do 1 times negative 2, that's going to give us a negative 2. So we already know that we've got this as our vertical asymptote. We now have a point at 2, 0. And we have a point at 6, negative 2. Should be down here. So it looks like our graph is going to start up here, run along the asymptote, and then it's going to end up curving out and down this direction. And that would be our graph for this function here that they've given us. Y is equal to negative 2 times log base 3 of x divided by 2. If you have questions, please mark them down. Otherwise, thanks for watching.